The University of Colorado Boulder, where people born between 1997 and 2012 told me the ever-increasing, quote, pressure to post about movements like these weighs on them almost every day.
Like, there's the whole cancel culture.
Like, you get in trouble for, like, if you don't say anything, and then if you do, and, like, people don't agree with you, it's like either way, like, you can't win.
I feel like the anxiety is coming from people our own age. And, like,
Gen Z's anxiety surrounding social media is triple the levels of people their parents' age.
we're all, like, I feel like impacting everyone, like, each other's mental health the way that we're getting impacted too. Like, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. McKinsey's researchers note a shortage in access to behavioral health providers. Because of that, Gen Zers instead are less likely to seek care. And when they do, they rely on emergency care or turn to more social media.
Gen Z is facing an unprecedented health crisis. They're more stressed, more anxious, and frankly, just sicker than any generation ever before. Now you might think, isn't every generation just a little dramatic about the next? But no, this is different. Today, we're diving into the shocking reality of why Gen Z is so sick, physically, mentally, and even spiritually. And trust me, the reasons are going to blow your mind. Let's start with a snapshot. Recent studies show that Gen Z is reporting higher rates of anxiety, depression, and chronic physical issues than any generation before them. We're talking about 1 in 3 Gen Zers saying that their mental health is poor, according to a recent survey from the American Psychological Association. And it doesn't stop there. Issues like chronic fatigue, migraines, and high blood pressure are showing up in young adults in shocking numbers. So, what's behind this unprecedented health crisis? Let's break it down, piece by piece. The pandemic's aftershock. The COVID-19 pandemic hit Gen Z hard. They lost critical years of social interaction, development, and routine. Imagine being 17 or 18 and suddenly cut off from friends and facing isolation. Those lockdowns didn't just mess with their social lives, they messed with their resilience. Just think about it. Remote learning, endless Zoom calls, days on end in a single room. This isolation has had lasting effects. Studies now link these experiences to increased rates of anxiety, depression, and even memory issues among Gen Z. Add to that the loss of community support. Whether through school, extracurriculars, or spiritual gatherings, many were cut off from places that gave their lives meaning. So for some, the impact wasn't just social or mental, it was spiritual. Social media and technology addiction. Now, if we're talking about stress and anxiety, we cannot skip the impact of social media. For Gen Z, this isn't just a fun pastime. It's a core part of life, but it's also a trap. Studies show that the more time you spend on social media, the more likely you are to struggle with mental health. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are literally designed to keep you hooked. And that constant comparison takes a toll on self-esteem, body image, and mental health. Just imagine growing up in a world where you're constantly exposed to curated, often unrealistic lifestyles. This isn't just a small thing. It's causing real harm. Research by the University of Pennsylvania found that limiting social media to just 30 minutes a day could lead to significant reductions in anxiety and depression. But it goes even deeper. Social media takes away time for reflection, for connecting inward, for finding a sense of peace. Instead of moments for spiritual connection or just time away from the noise, Gen Z is often scrolling away, and that can leave them feeling empty and disconnected from any deeper purpose. Let's talk about 2 massive invisible weights on Gen Z's shoulders: economic and environmental anxiety. Gen Z is coming of age in a time of financial instability, rising housing prices, student debt, and this gig economy that doesn't offer much stability. Over 70% of Gen Z says financial stress keeps them up at night, and this has real impacts on both mental and physical health. And then there's climate anxiety. Many in Gen Z feel the weight of climate change more heavily than previous generations. They're acutely aware that they're inheriting a planet in crisis, with disasters becoming more frequent and intense. This isn't just an environmental issue. It's causing serious mental health struggles. According to a study in The Lancet, 59% of young people globally feel extremely worried about climate change. Imagine facing an existential threat you didn't create that's overwhelming. This is a massive burden, and it's affecting everything from sleep to mental health to physical wellness. It weighs on the spirit too. And let's not ignore the physical side. Remote learning, remote work, and endless hours at a desk. Gen Z has adapted a largely sedentary lifestyle, which we know increases the risk of issues like obesity, heart disease, and chronic pain. Physical health is closely tied to mental health. So these lifestyle shifts are doubling down on stress and anxiety. And combine that with diet, processed foods, fast food culture, food deserts in many communities, it's all contributing to physical health decline. And with physical health on the line, mental health and spiritual health often take a hit too. And now let's talk about something that isn't often included in health discussions: spiritual health. Gen Z is the least religious generation in American history. And also, many people report feeling disconnected from a sense of purpose. A Pew Research study found that only about 36% of Gen Z identify as religious, but many say they're searching for meaning and purpose. Without something to anchor them, Gen Z is at higher risk of feeling adrift and unfulfilled. This void isn't easy to fill with social media or the latest wellness trends. It needs a deeper, more meaningful connection. You know, one thing I found pretty interesting and fascinating, especially as the Real Talk doc on TikTok, where I interact with a lot of Gen Z folks, is that Gen Z seems to be a lot more open about mental health and wellness than pretty much any previous generation. Therapy isn't taboo, self-care is encouraged, and we're seeing a new approach to health. But here's a catch. These solutions are treating the symptoms, not the root causes. True wellness includes physical, mental, and spiritual health. And while Gen Z is making strides, the disconnect from community, purpose, or something greater leaves a lot unfulfilled. So, what's the way out? Gen Z is already vocal about these issues, pushing for change in mental health access, economic reforms, and climate action. They know what's wrong, and they're pushing for a better world. I say we need to invest in Gen Z, support mental health access, create better economic conditions, prioritize the climate, and let's remember to support deeper connections, whether it's through community, nature, or finding peace inwardly. Because Gen Z isn't just sick, they're sick of being ignored. Gen Z is fighting battles that no generation before has had to face all at once. So next time you hear someone dismiss their struggles, remember, this isn't about being dramatic. It's about a real, serious health crisis. Stay healthy, stay informed, and as always, stay dynamic. Peace.